And good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're watching here in the Philippines or from whatever part of the world. And welcome to my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. Now, in my podcast, what I do is that I interview the country's pioneering business personalities and upcoming entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about business, what are their success secrets, and can we hack and learn from their success secrets. How have they innovated their businesses during this pandemic? And what opportunities do they see emerging in the new normal and even in the next normal? Now, is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? Please let me know. I would love to learn from them. Drop me a message. We are also live right now on Kumu, CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and of course, the Bounce Back Network. If you are enjoying this podcast and you are learning a lot from it, please do subscribe and invite more of your friends and family members to listen to the RJ Ledesma Podcast. We are on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Really glad to have you guys on board. Really enjoy your feedback at the same time. Now, for many people out here, there's been a very big trend towards what we call play-to-earn games, towards non-fungible tokens. And for those of us who are probably not millennials, these terms might not be very familiar with many of us. So today, I'm very happy that I've got two special guests to help us better explain play-to-earn NFT games or non-fungible token games. And more importantly, they're creating a game which is Filipino mythology inspired. And me, I'm a creative writer and I was also a publisher. It's nice to know that the people involved in creating this game were people I used to work with in the publishing industry as well. So right now, I'd like to welcome on the show James Chua, the CEO of Anito Legends, together with Jayvee Fernandez, who is the Chief Marketing Officer and co-founder of Anito Legends. This is the flagship title of Masayato Games. Masayato Games is a Filipino mythology-inspired play-to-earn NFT game which runs on the Binance Smart Chain. It is the first roguelike auto-battler being developed by talent from the Philippines. And if you don't understand what roguelike auto-battler meant, just like me, they will explain that later on. Now, this game is inspired by Philippine mythology, wherein players take control of a team of Anitos to conquer towers and earn rewards. So with that, can I please welcome here on the program, James Chua and, of course, Jayvee Fernandez. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having us, RJ.
Thanks for having
us.
Guys,
really happy to have you guys over here. And thanks again to Jayvee for reaching out. When you announced this one, I was so glad that you're part of this, part of this movement. At first, I thought you were part of a new hotel chain. Hindi pala, hindi hotel chain pala.
Yeah.
Kundi Anito Legends. I thought that was the premium brand ng Anito but now Anito
Yes.
Legends is actually a play to earn game. And there were three key things that were coming out over here, no? It is a play to earn non-fungible token NFT game, which is Filipino mythology inspired. So,
Yes.
having said all that, it's quite a mouthful. And, like I often say, my dad often listens to this podcast and he's trying to go, all those three terms just totally escapes him. So, help us better understand. Let's start off, first of all, when you say, what do you mean when you say play to earn? Maybe that's the first thing that we do. Help us better understand that play to earn community that's being built here in the Philippines. James, Jayvee, feel free, and if you can tackle that answer.
Sige, I'll maybe take this one and then si JV na lang will explain the NFTs. Well, the play to earn, the whole play to earn movement, no, started with a very famous game called Axie Infinity.
Okay.
As you know, well, they gave their stats recently. They have 2 point something million active users every month, and 60% of them come from the Philippines. And
Wow.
basically, it's yeah, it's a really the really big chunk talaga is here in the Philippines. And basically, people play the game, earn some sort of cryptocurrency from the game, and from that cryptocurrency, they can exchange it into fiat or into real money, or in this case, Philippine peso. And yun, basically, that's the whole loop. Play the game, earn cryptocurrency, sell it for Philippine peso, and
I
that's the
think
whole play to earn loop.
I think
Wow.
if we were to classify games, I
Mhm.
mean, you remember when video games first came out, or if you buy a game, I go to the store, I pay a certain amount of money, and then I get the game and I install it, and then I keep it, right? So that is the traditional way of doing things. I guess maybe the past 10 years we had what you call the free to play naman. The free to play is it's free to try out and free to actually play, but then the company makes money from selling things like cosmetics, skins. So these are the games like Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone,
So
where
explain. Sorry,
anyone.
Jayvee, you got to explain what you mean by cosmetics because for people my age,
Okay.
cosmetics means makeup and skins means
Oh,
literally
The skin.
skin. So help us better understand what you mean by
so
free to play.
so many of these games are being played by people who like to stream on Facebook. Like this. Now we have a show, right? So I think it's some sort of I don't want to say millennial vanity or Gen Z vanity that when you stream these games, you want to look good, right? And of course, you can't see your face. Some people they do, but they really want to focus more on your character, right? The guy walking around, killing things, shooting things, accomplishing tasks. So the game allows you to purchase what you call skins or skin packs or cosmetic packs that allow you to make the player look better. Pag Christmas, they have a Santa hat. Halloween, yeah, you all look like ghosts. So that's really the business model. It's basically having a seasonal collection of outfits, just like how the fashion industry is, right? So they make money from the cosmetics, um, and I think that has resonated a lot with people because it's actually a win-win. For people who can afford to pay money, they do buy the skins, and for people who cannot afford, they can still play the game although they don't look like as good as the other person, right? But then in terms of in terms of the actual challenge, the having all of these cosmetics do not actually add to the skill. So it's really just very cosmetic, and that's what I mean when I say that they look better. Um,
Mm.
Got that.
so
Got that.
now that we've gone through the traditional way of buying games, which is I buy it from the store, from GameStop or whatever, or even from the internet, right? Then I have the free to play where I freely download the game and I can play it. I can choose to give them money to buy cosmetics. Then you have
And
um
before you go there, JB, other people also before, if I understand correctly, in these free to play games, right? There are other ways for people to monetize free to play by, I guess, maybe play for other people to, let's say, go to higher levels or play for other
Yes.
people to secure specific weapons or specific things. Can you explain that a bit
yes.
more, especially for those of
Uh,
us who aren't too keen on gaming? So you have to have to break it down first? I know this is something that's intuitive for you, but for people like us, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
you
interesting.
know, it's quite interesting, Arj, because I remember back when I was like a fresh grad and games like Ragnarok Online came out. So these are very old games back in, 20 years ago. It's what, basically started the whole this came out when the very first Counter Strike and these net cafe games back in the day came out.
Mhm.
We heard so many stories of people like taking over accounts because, oh, you play for me, I will pay you money, parang ginawang trabaho, right?
Oh,
And
oh.
if you're a college student, extra money, of course, why not? Why will I say no to this? I'm going to play a game and earn money on the side, so why not, right?
Parang
And
win-win
what
talaga.
happened? Oh, win-win talaga. Syempre, 'di ba? You use that money, you go on your date, ganon, 'di ba? What 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 was interesting is that in these games kasi you could also trade items. So by playing and playing and playing, you increase your level or you get a certain amount of money in the game, you're able to buy the really expensive high level stuff. And what would happen is that I think the end game for this is the way you would cash out was you would sell that character on like on Pinoy Exchange, for instance. These are the old forums, right? And
Wow.
I remember back in the day, I'd had friends selling their characters in Ragnarok Online for 100,000 pesos. This is in 2002. So uh, that's big money, and people would buy. And I think that is exactly, people would say this is why the Philippines is geared towards this play to earn or play and earn movement because of behavior in the past where I can now use the time I spend playing games to actually earn money or nanganganak siya and I can cash
Mm.
that out.
Mm.
That's kind of the gist of it. We can, of course, we're gonna go deeper into that, but that's the new business model. So
Mm.
from buying your game to playing the game for free with the option to buy cosmetics to what you have now. I can play the game and earn money. So the developer and the player are actually earning, right?
Yeah.
So that's the new thing.
So it was like we were being, all these games were just prepping us for earn to play.
Right.
Or sorry,
Yes.
they play to
Exactly.
earn. Everything was just
Yes.
play. I mean, it was prepping the whole Filipino. I mean, if you look at the volume of people doing this play to earn, it seems that we were all being prepped. Whoever was in the gaming
Yes.
community to get into this one. Tama ba ako, James? That's how you feel also the same.
Yes. That's kasi Philippines as a being a game developer, Philippines talaga is like a really good market for you to test games. When I say
Why?
yan,
Why? Yeah, explain to me why. I want to understand
kasi
why.
traditionally, with the mobile games especially, a lot of companies come here and have the soft launch of a game, have it tested here in the Philippines. Kasi whatever they do in the game, if they really like the game, that is also reflective of behavior of people in the West. So
Mm,
our tastes between here in Philippines and people in the US and Canada, North America, are very similar. So if they will spend X amount of time in this game, it is guaranteed that the audience in the West will also emulate what the people are doing here. Ibang
interesting.
ibang usapan na yung ano, like buying things in the store. Of course, that's different. They have different regions to test that, but player behavior is very similar to what the Americans are also doing.
James, if you
Kumbaga,
don't mind, give us an
nagso-soft launch
example.
dito.
Give me an example of a game that they sort of soft launched here, which became popular globally because they launched it first here in the Philippines.
Usually the very big titles like yung ano, if I'm not mistaken, one of the games of Supercell is Clash Royale. They did a soft launch in the region in Southeast Asia before having it launched globally, and now it's a really big game. They're also, yeah, usually the big companies do that. Supercell, uh, the names escape me now. But yeah, the big mobile game companies usually do that.
Interesting. Yeah, JB, you want to add to that one?
I think yeah. So I mean, user behavior kasi like if you look at the trends, we're always the text. Remember, we were in the news. We're always the text messaging capital, and we became the social media capital. So Farmville and all of that, and of course because smartphones. So I think to add to what James was saying, smartphone adoption was really of a different sort of animal here in the Philippines because it was the first entry point for many Filipinos to a computer, right?
Mm.
They don't
Okay,
own the
okay.
desktop, they own the smartphone, right? Especially now, you can buy a smartphone for what? Less than 5,000 pesos. And that's a
Mm.
gaming computer already for many people. So they play
Mm,
their Clash Royale, their ano. So by sheer volume, we've always been a gaming culture kasi it's just the platform just keeps changing eh. Like remember, back in the days of the family computer, we had that and the Nintendo at the same time, right? And even if it was in Japanese, right? They'd sell it in the mall and then biglang ngayon, Ragnarok Online with all these other Korean games, and then now it's mobile games, right? And then now we're
Right.
seeing I think the stars aligned in a way because well of people lost their jobs in 2020, and the play to earn games of Sky Mavis just launched and people started playing this, and word got around in the Visayas. So medyo ano alignment of the stars, and people started to see that hey, I can make money pala from this.
Yeah.
wow.
So some people see it as a job, some people see it as a job and having fun. Some people are just there for the fun. So it's a whole basket of personalities eh. But you can't deny the fact that the concept that I can now easily earn and cash out from something, from a game, when in fact before you'd have to, 'di ba? If you sell your character nga on Ragnarok, you'd have to PM the person, oh, here's my username and password, or deposit the money in my bank account, 'di ba? Ngayon wala nang ganoon. You initiate the trade through the game. So or when you sell something, 'di ba? Pwedeng ganun. So people now are saying we're geared for this eh. We're 20 years in the making and now it's finally here. And that's why we're the play to earn capital.
Got it.
So,
So,
'di ba?
when you talk, so that's another important thing. Thanks for bringing us through the evolution. I think that's very key for many people. Now there's a better understanding. But now, when people are doing play to earn, right? So basically, they're earning cryptocurrency. That's correct,
Right.
about
Right.
okay. I know that this might be a larger discussion, but basically, how does cryptocurrency turn from, I guess, online currency into to actual currency? And I know that we've talked. I know you worked with Jay Villarante, who's also been on the show, so explain that. But sometimes for people, this is their first encounter again with okay, play to earn cryptocurrency. But how does that actually work? And I get money from playing. Do you mind explaining a bit more, James, JB, on that one?
The value basically stems from the ano from basically it's dictated by the market. If you're familiar with the supply and demand concept, the more supply you have of something, and the less demand of it, the price of it will go lower, and vice versa. So it's basically that. If the token supply is very limited for like say Bitcoin, there's a supply of 21 million. Eventually that 21 million will be reached. So that's why that's what is giving the value for Bitcoin. It's market demand, the market supply and demand, yung paglalaro lang ng people buying it versus selling it. That's basically how cryptocurrencies gain their value. And of course, there's some other aspects na some tokens have utility. Where can you use it? What programs or what applications are using that token for? For example, Ethereum. Ethereum has a lot of utility right now. If you hear the buzzwords, the NFTs, DeFi apps or decentralized finance apps, um, this gives Ethereum utility. So That's why the price is dictated so also.
Okay.
I,
So
I think
yeah, go ahead, JB, please.
I think the example I like to give when explaining this to a new person would be, remember back in the day when we would go to Glico's arcade or Reno's arcade in Robinson's Galleria, and then we would spend, I think at the beginning it was 3 pesos for one token, diba? To play
Mm.
Street Fighter. Street Fighter was 2 tokens, so 6 pesos.
Yeah, yeah.
So imagine the token, that's your cryptocurrency. So 3 pesos is to one token. Now, the only time the utility of that token is so you can play arcade games. So I go to the exchange, the
The
girl that
booth.
you
Yeah.
di ba, you exchange the tokens there. You
Right.
use that money. And then from there, the value is now perceived because I can play a video game because I bought tokens from that arcade. There's no other use for that, right? But
Mm.
can you imagine now, what would happen if they opened more branches, for example? Does the value of the token go up? Maybe it does, because all of a sudden I'm not printing more tokens, The token is still the same. So because of many factors, inflation, or they have more arcade machines, for example, or there are different market conditions that affect the sale, right? So from 3 pesos, I remember the time it became 5 pesos per
Yeah.
token, right? So people complain, oh no, now I have to spend 10 pesos for Street Fighter,
Yeah,
right?
that's
But that's
inflation.
yeah, that's inflation, right?
Yeah.
So
Lesson of
that's
inflation.
that's exactly how the crypto thing works. The perceived value is I can play video games when I go to the mall because I can exchange my peso into the token of Reno's arcade or Glico's arcade, diba? That's the basic explanation of it. And that's the value. It's only useful for that. I cannot use the Reno's arcade to Glico's, for example, right?
Mm.
So because they have their own token for that. So in
Mm.
the same way with these play to earn games, all of these games are based on a token system, right? So we created our own. It's called Laro, Laro, to play, right? And that token will determine. It's called the governance token. It governs the entire game. You need to exchange your fiat money, your real money, into that to buy the token to play, to buy the units, the Anitos. And I think that's the the brick and mortar example. So treat
Mm.
treat
Okay.
treat the game like an arcade center. For those
Yeah.
who remember the glory days of
Back in the
arcades
day.
back in
But
the
I think
day.
I'd like to add na rin the difference with the arcade token analogy. With blockchain kasi, um, if we decide to partner with another game, the tokens or the assets, the NFTs, could be also used either in their game or in our game or both. Pwede rin ganun. So that's the beauty of it also. There's this much
Yeah.
flexibility of the system. We're not really focused on this closed. Dito, Anito Legends is just Anito Legends, and no other game can come in and put their assets in our game, and vice versa. But with blockchain, you can. It's very possible to do that.
So
Yeah.
para basically like right now, if I was going to do it na, it'd be like, okay, it's gonna be sa Street Fighter lang yung token mo can only be for Street Fighter. Pero ngayon, pwede sa Street Fighter pati sa Super Mario.
Yun,
Yung,
pwede.
yung
Parang ganun.
parang,
Yeah.
parang
Yes,
ganun na.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. But the thing is, you can only use it for the video game. But for example, maybe an example would be like in the arcade when you play tokens, when you play a game, one of those stomping games, one of those activity games,
Whack-a-mole.
the
Oo.
guacamole that they give you the strips which you can reclaim. Is that how do you use that? Does that analogy also make sense when you get
Yeah,
when they give
ac-
when they give you tickets when they give you
they give
tickets
you things.
because you won?
You've
Uh,
Yes, yeah.
explained it.
That's actually that's why we have a second token called Ginto, and that is what is rewarded to the player after they play. If they perform really well in the game or keep on winning, they will be rewarded Ginto token, which is like similar to the tickets that an
Ticket.
arcade gives out. But instead of exchanging for a toy or whatever, you can actually exchange it
for real
for money.
money.
Yeah,
Parang
or
ganyan.
if
So
if
the
allowed,
tickets become real money. Parang ganyan, di
become
ba?
yes, yes.
Yeah, you
Or
can
if
exchange it
allowed,
in the
by the government. You can use it in other merchants or I know. But yun, that's very gray area right now. But
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
that's the hope in the future.
Okay. So now we're talking about cryptocurrencies, and one other thing that people don't still need to better understand is what you mean by a non-fungible token, diba? And how does that work in the cryptocurrency world? Because they talk about what's very hot right now is art NFTs, right?
Right.
As non-fungible tokens. How exactly does this work in the whole cryptocurrency scene? Can you explain that for us?
And JV, you did this
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
presentation before.
So yeah, yeah. I've been talking about this to some traditional companies. So I'm trying to really explain it from a traditional perspective. So when you say non fungible token, the best way to describe it is to describe what is a fungible token, right? So, diba RJ, let's say you have 100 pesos. James has 100 pesos. I have 100 pesos. If I give you my 100, you give me yours. It doesn't matter because it's the same 100 pesos, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's fungible. But let's say I have my driver's license or the title of my house or my ID card. I give it to you. Di pwede yun. That's non-fungible because it's tied to my identity as JV. Your driver's license is RJ. James' marriage certificate is his, right? His alone, right? So these are tied to you as an individual, and you cannot, it cannot be erased, right? It's that because it's part of who you are. So um, imagine it now from the digital perspective. There's always that question now of who owns the art if I right click and save a JPEG? Diba,
Mm.
you share memes on Facebook, diba? I can just right click save it. I can print the Mona Lisa tonight in in my printer and then I'll have a copy of the Mona Lisa. Um the thing is when we're talking about non-fungible tokens, it is seemingly a way for people to prove that they own something. Now, here's where it gets a bit complicated because people start to say na that means to say if I own the non-fungible token of yun the Mona Lisa, does it mean it's mine? Actually no, it's not. You do not own copyright. What you actually own is a piece of link, a link or a string of characters or a link to the photo or to the JPEG or to whatever work of art that is. Kasi it can be ano it can be it can be any piece of property on the internet. It could be a photo, it could be a piece of music, it could be music with photo, so on and so forth. So the example people like to give is um, you do not own the treasure. You own the map to the treasure. And in the art scene, there that is the contestation eh. Are people putting value to that? It seems like they are. It seems like people want to put value to both the treasure and the treasure map, right? Because it's interesting. Now here's the crux of the matter. The most important part of the NFT debate or the NFT characteristics is that as an artist, having a non-fungible token allows me to resell that in the marketplace. For example, I own a painting and I'm the painter. I sell it to somebody else. And then that person sells it in the secondary and tertiary market of art. Syempre ako wala na akong cut dun, 'di ba? Kasi binenta ko na eh.
Mm.
In the world of NFTs and non-fungible tokens, since the blockchain can trace where that thing went, I always get a cut. I get 10% every time it is resold. Which is why the commentary is a lot of Filipino small-time artists are making good money now because of the resale value. They don't necessarily make good money from the first sale, but from the resale when it starts to appreciate in value. Now, who determines the value of the art? Siyempre, that's ano na, subjective kasi art na yun eh. Right? In the similar way that the art scene now puts arbitrary values on certain pieces of art. But that's the beauty. So, you can trace who owns or who created that piece of art. and you can trace who are the next few owners of that. So yung pasahan, matitrace mo siya. So again, ito yung sinasabi nilang digital ledger. So
Mhm.
anyone can see where it gets passed on to.
Hmm. And the
Okay.
price also.
And the price
And
also.
the
So having
price, and
said
the
that,
price that they bought it.
yeah. And having said that, JB, what exactly do you guys? What are you using to create value? You said your cryptocurrency is the you said the Ginto or the governance token, or is it the is that the NFT that you're using, or is that the cryptocurrency
Okay.
that you're using?
So you need the Laro token, the token to buy the NFT,
Okay.
right? To buy the NFT. And the use of the NFT is to play the game. It's like you buying 30 lives in Mario or in Gradius. Parang ganun. So, I need those characters to play the game, right? Um, and as time passes by, as you level up, these characters become stronger. There is what you call in the game a breeding mechanic. It's very similar to, you know how people make money because they breed dogs. So
Mm-hmm.
so may champion line ka, may anak. Yung anak na
Hmm.
yan, champion line. So mas mahal siya. The same thing is applicable to many NFT games, including ours, where you can breed Anitos, tapos yung anak pwede mong ibenta sa marketplace for other players to buy.
Yes.
So the job of the game developer is to come up with more and more ways for you to make use of all of your characters.
Right. And to add na rin to what JV said, our characters also are unique. Actually, we have like a DNA system built into the game
Mm, I
that
see.
tracks the traits, the parang genome, and then so when you breed your Anito, some of the traits get passed on to the offspring. And then we're also not allowing, like in real life, we're not allowing inbreeding because
Inbreeding.
that will cause problems. So we're not allowing that. And yeah, those things are traits. It's very interesting. Para talagang it's like breeding animals basically.
Kumbaga,
So when
that's the point, the limited edition of it. I mean, the traditional ways you're limiting the ability for it to, you're limiting the edition. Parang you
Yeah,
yes,
can't get too
correct.
many of this one.
Yeah,
it's
correct.
like buying
Kasi
a bottle of, let's say, itong collection of watches or this collection of whiskey. Now 1
yeah.
in 50 or 1 in
Yeah,
30.
parang
Parang
ngayon,
ganun
parang
siya.
150, that's
Yeah.
it now. We don't produce
Yeah.
anymore. Oh.
Right.
At kung
Yeah.
magkaanak to, you cannot combine. Kasi ito lang, ano to, 30 lang, yun lang.
Right,
Oh.
right.
Oo.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Oh,
So
the
that's
very,
unique
very,
exactly
aspect of it.
the and then
very interesting.
what's
Oh,
so very
continue.
each Anito is unique in the sense that all of the cosmetics are different. So the hair, the eyes, the nose, the tail,
Yep.
iba-iba yan. So
Yep.
it's generated by a system.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So
when
there
you buy
so
something,
yeah,
unique
it's all
talaga.
unique talaga. I mean, that Anito belongs to you lang. Nobody else has that same Anito look. So that's very unique.
I
So it's
see.
like imagine Arj playing Mario Brothers, but Mario has 20,000 or I don't know, different siblings that look different. Parang ganon.
Yeah.
So it's parang it's ano eh, it's crazy to think about that something like this is happening now when way back this wasn't even possible. Eh.
That's
Mm.
right.
So it's very interesting.
When you
And that's what
say, oh, I like this one. I like the comment ng ni Louis De Leon Magbanwa. Mario Multiverse. Haha. That's how I see it as well. Louis. See? And I'll get back to the earlier comment as well there. Having said that, though, there's one more thing wanted to go back to. No, you said it runs on the Binance Smart Chain. What
Yes.
exactly does it mean that it runs on the Binance Smart Chain?
Okay, siguro just to give a primer. There are a lot of blockchain networks right now. You have Ethereum, the most popular one. There is Bitcoin. It's its own network, and there comes Binance. If you want to get technical about it, it's actually a spin off, so to speak, of Ethereum. It uses the same halos the same technologies, but they found a way to lessen the gas fees or the transaction fees, because whenever you do a transaction in the blockchain, in Ethereum, let's say, and I send a token to you or to JV, I need to pay transaction fees, and these transaction fees uh, swing wildly depending on how congested the network is. There are times that it could go about $30. Sometimes it could go up to $100 because it's so congested. Um, with Binance naman, it the gas fees or the transaction fees are very very minimal. In pesos, it's like 10 to 15 pesos per transaction. So this is very very price friendly, especially for us Filipinos. When you interact with the game, when you buy an NFT or buy an Anito, syempre you have to pay a gas fee or transaction fee whenever you buy. So the fee is not that painful.
Okay.
It it
And
it,
then
it
when you want to
compounds.
be sorry, JP, you were saying?
It really adds up kasi like I'll just I'll make kwento no like when I first tried to buy an NFT last year, like okay I mean natin it's 5,000 pesos for example. When when they give you the bill, it's like, oh, bakit 13,000 pesos? Parang, ha? You know what I mean? So the gas fees can really add up eh. Minsan nga it's really expensive. So we realized that if we're going to be making a game, it should be running on something that can be yung walang ano that may bill shock, 'di ba?
Ah,
may
okay.
yeah, may
Uh,
bill shock siya. So
yeah.
this is actually the perfect place to run this game. So we're running on Binance. Plus I think I know there's been we can talk about this later on, but I know that people have been asking about the environmental impact of Bitcoin and all of this. Sa Binance ano halos wala. It's basically the same as opening Facebook or Twitter. So we also had that in mind.
And then JB, if they want to, let's say they've earned a lot of what you said, the tokens, the gold, yung out of the ginto. How can they quote unquote withdraw their money from Anito and make it actual fiat money?
So well, the most common way would be to cash out using an exchange. So that's why we have to have our token listed in these exchanges. But there's also a special case nga in the Philippines. I see Jay, one of your guests. They are actually our partners. Where the Philippines, kasi more than 50% are unbanked, no,
Mm-hmm.
and a majority of these people see crypto just like the stock market, but they don't really do things online. So they cash out through services like Moneybees, for instance.
Money
So like,
beast. Okay.
yeah, so
Money beast of
being
J
able,
of J of
yeah,
J Pierre
exactly.
Of
Angel.
J,
So
yeah.
who was your guest? So Jay is one of they're our partners. So they're also one of our partners. So it's Pinoys helping one another. I think that's a good thing. So they can cash out in the mall, right? Syempre you provide your ID and all that, and it's just the same as going to a Sanris or a Lulier exchange.
Wow, Sandris.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay,
Oh, parang
it's
ganun.
getting very grounded. It's getting get very grounded for me now. So I get it exactly. Ibig sabihin lang yan that if I play Anito and then I earn something there, the ginto, I can go to Money Piece in the mall and I can withdraw.
Right, that's correct. We
That's
want
the
that. Yeah, we want that experience sana for especially for mga kababayan natin to really cash out as quick as they can or as convenient as it could be.
we're
Got
we're
that.
we're because Arj, we're just really following the trend also in the sense that it's what Pinoy's already doing with with Axie Infinity. They're also cashing out using these services. So it's also convenient to be there. And when we talk to our foreign investors about services like Moneybees, they're part of them like they get shocked a bit now. Wow, I didn't know the Philippines was so progressive when it comes to these things. Kasi diba, in other countries, they're using Binance and
Yeah,
tayo may punta ka sa mall, 'di ba? Oh, ito na. Tapos
right.
cash out mo na. Oh,
Oo.
'di ba? Cash out mo na bonus mo. Yun. So it's very progressive and very convenient for the typical Pinoy who likes to go to the mall.
Got that. And having said all that one, I just before we continue, I just want to greet a lot of great feedback coming in from the commenters. So I just want to say hi to them. I like well again Louis De Leon Magbana earlier on said aesthetic items to customize your character. That's what they liked about that one. Clark, you can pick that up. Some of the earlier comments over there. And I like what Tristan Angelo Flores said. That's a very good take. Feels like I can explain crypto to my parents now.
Yeah.
Laughing my ass off after that one. Thanks so much, JB. In fact, for me, it makes it a bit. Thanks for really breaking it down. For breaking it down for me, it makes it much easier to explain or to explain to other people. And from Giancarlo Munoz Viterbo, really can't wait to try out Anito. Way to go, guys, and our friends from Gadget Filipinas. I hope you can also use this platform to educate Filipinos about NFTs. That's the last comment over there, Clark. So yeah, so really great explanation, guys. And I hope you don't mind. I really took time with this one because it's helping a lot of people. If they do listen again to the podcast, they go, "Oh, okay, it makes much more sense to me now than it did in the past. It's not anymore just jargon to me, di ba? Or flying over my head." Now, I want to put now sort of like the entrepreneurial spin on this one, or the entrepreneurial mindset as we develop this one. And as an entrepreneur, what you always ask yourself is, what is the pain point that we're trying to address? Or what is the unmet opportunity or underserved need that was not being served before in terms of developing a game here in the Philippines? So obviously what you saw as an opportunity, James, was that, okay, the play-to-earn community is growing, the NFT community is there, but I'm going to create a game. But what's going to make, I guess, the game unique, innovative, different that nobody else can do, or that's going to be something that's a first? What came into your mind when all these factors were coming to play?
Ayun, there are a few points to that question. Of course, before creating this game, this project, we really had to study the others, what's out there, before we really make our own. And we noticed that some of the games there are catered to the very hardcore audience. I mean, even Axie Infinity,
Mm-hmm.
the game itself is not very casual player friendly. I mean, like if my dad or your dad tries to play that game, I'm sure they'll lose their mind on trying to understand the rules and what's happening and whatnot.
Yeah.
So our approach, we want to really take it. We want to introduce this game to a lot of casual players or maybe first time players, because that is our background. We've been making a lot of casual games for the past 7 years, and we're bringing that experience here to the play to earn space. We also want to make the game very expansive as well, not to only the casual players, but also if you're going to really spend time on it, and really enjoy the game, there's still a lot of content for that kind of player to chew on. And another point is we want to introduce the Filipino culture into the game, since a lot of, well, like JV said, this is the play to earn heartland, the Philippines. Why not showcase na our culture? We have very rich lore, stories. That's why we chose the Anito theme, and I feel that is very unique. I mean, not to knock the other play to earn games there, but usually there's the theme of the games are not really well thought out. They just put random characters, and then they'll fight each other.
Mm-hmm,
On
mm-hmm.
our game, we have Miss Yvette Tan writing the story, making sure everything is well connected. We're trying to build a universe na rin, so to speak, and making sure the experience is very um, there's a quality experience when you interact with the game.
Got that. I just want to comment what Mary Joy Ares said over here. She said over here, we should help one another, learn and teach, and together we will rise up. Really great feedback. I also like what Yen said, that support Pinoy NFTs. Mark Uneri also, hashtag Pinoy NFT. No, having said that, it's very interesting. We're seeing that Pinoy mythology is becoming very popular. First of all, you saw Trece became very big online. And we had Budgetan also here as well on the RJ Ledesma podcast, who's now based in Denmark, but was the founder of, or who co-created the character of Trece. We have Will Sportasio of Marvel Comics and Image Comics fame, coming up with Stone the Awakening, which is also based on Filipino characters. And you're having Yvette Tan do the story over here. And people might not know who Yvette is, but Jayvee, I know Yvette and I, we were both creative writers, and she's been an editor. She's currently working for Manila Bulletin as one of the editors, but she is a award-winning horror writer, and that's the background of Yvette. I want to figure out. I mean, you said to yourself, okay, I want to do something that is in that space of Filipino mythology, right, to make it unique and different. But what makes it specifically unique and different, JV? Maybe you can add, like, what makes the game different? I know that you bring a great, uh, for musical scoring, you've got something really great. You've got Yvette creating the story. What else is making this game unique versus other games, especially Pinoy games and I guess Pinoy mythology games in general? Because people are doing that right now. They're doing like Pinoy-inspired games, but what makes yours different?
I think, well, it's more of it was an epiphany at some point when we realized that there's a lot of people talking about Pinoy folklore. And we have, you have the greats, it's in the budget, like that you said, budget, and then you have people like Arnold Are, of course.
Yes, oh,
Um,
sorry, I forgot Arnold. Yeah, of course,
I
Arnold
mean,
Arre.
diba? I
That's
mean,
right.
like these are
Mythology
guys.
class.
We know these guys, right? We know them,
Yeah.
and they're great people. I wanted to I wanted a game that could really be at that level of engagement and expertise when it comes to something that's fun to play but also deeply and well thought of. I think in as a gamer we call it having a lot of soul in the game, right?
Hmm.
So it's that soul. And I was reading actually one of Yvette's short novellas called Kaba, and I told her, Yvette, this is actually how I we envision the lore of Anito Legends as a series of short stories that you can compile. So in effect, what Yvette is writing is she is actually building the lore around several short stories that you can pick up while you play the game. We call it the codex. If you've played games like Mass Effect and Baldur's Gate, you build the codex as you play. So you will be completing and discovering the story as you play the game, and everything has been written by Yvette. It's really amazing when she submits her stuff. Like, wow, this is just so good. So I'm really excited. Um, when it so I feel that I don't want to say it's like building a our own universe, but essentially that's what it is. And I want we want the game to be more than just a game, no? We want to expand and really make this something like who knows if we have like a series on YouTube or we don't know. But that's the first the anchor should be the game and the fun experience. We it's so funny, James, diba? We have all of these meetings where ito yung topic, pero we go off topic for 1 hour because
Yeah.
we have a new feature we want to implement. Sige, sige, sige. So I think that's also a competitive advantage, RJ, because the team is all in house. Many other publishers of these games, they're not actually developers. They outsource. So there's no we have that dynamic thing going on where oh sige, let's down it. It's fun. Sige nga, let's test it out. And then we roll out the beta. We roll out the beta and the community gets to test it. So parang ano siya eh, it's very flat, very linear, dynamic, very fun for everybody.
Okay. So having said that, it was a long, drawn-out explanation, and I think no, which is great for me because I think I know that there are a lot of gamers here right now, people supporting Anito, these things that they know by heart, but they're also first timers going, oh, so now I can better understand how this works. Now it's time to show a little bit more of the trailer of Anito. So Clark, can you show us the trailer right now of Anito? And can you walk us through this, Jay? Because the people listening to this via the podcast might not get to see the video. Let's show a short video
Okay.
of the combat trailer of Anito.
All right. So what we're seeing now is the way you discover or buy Anitos. So they come in gacha boxes, the inspired by yung mga Funko Pop, and then you can when you unbox an Anito, you can equip them with a shield, a sword, or other weapons, armor, and the armor and weapons and other equipment kind of affect the way the Anito behaves. right? And as you progress through the dungeons, you will always have time to like level up, unlock new items, and then you will also fail a lot. That's the thing. We've had people like in our first beta tests, we were like first dungeon pa lang patay na because it's really it's challenging. It's easy to learn but hard to master. And it's something that you can it's something that you can do over and over again. Just the investment in time is I think you really just have to spend about maybe 3 to 5 minutes configuring your party. Imagine there's this new genre called auto chess. So imagine playing chess, but everything is automatic. So your different pieces move at a certain way, and all of these different pieces are in place. So same thing with Anito Legends. For example, if I give my Shokoy healing stuff, he's the designated healer. If I give someone a shield and he stays in front, he's the designated absorber. And then you have a guy with the staff and the mage staff. He deals that. So siya yung what you call the DPS or the damage guy. So it's all about mixing and matching with Anitos, spending about 5 minutes of building that perfect configuration, and then realizing later on, oh shit, the strategy doesn't work anymore. So you have to restart. And we found during the beta, people are having so much fun with that different configuration. So yeah, that's a part of the appeal of actually that's the biggest appeal so far of the game.
well, it
Um
really,
oh some,
JB, can you just in case can you also say right now the what is the if they want to test the beta, if they want to try out the game, the beta, where can they go, James?
They can go to our website, play.anitolegends.com. It's our beta website. You can sign up to it. We'll just have to get some information. I mean, baka for the first time non-crypto people, we will be asked. There's a form. There's a field there in the form asking for your wallet address. This is basically your crypto wallet address. We recommend the wallet called MetaMask. Please read up on it na lang and how to set it up. But once you get that wallet, just place it there, and then we will inform you via email.
Got that. And just reading out the comments over here, James sharing this with you. It says from Huawei na Orbe, hashtag Anito Legends number one. And then we also have over here Yen, tower mode so challenging. And she
Yeah.
adds after that one, Yen says, first floor palang deads na Anito. Weh. Okay, really great. James, if you don't mind, people might be just wondering what was your specific background that gave you the sort of like the not the credentials, but sort of like the confidence to develop Anito Legends. What were the other games that you guys were developing before in the past that said, okay, I can do this game here right now?
Well, we've been doing games, quite a few games, mostly casual games. One of the more popular games that we've created before was called Vote Clicker. Ayan, it's about the elections then, the last presidential elections in 2016.
Okay, exciting, yeah.
Uh, and basically that game kasi dati the genre before that was popular was the clicker games or the idle games. So we try to ano lang capitalize on that but with putting the elections as a theme. And it was a very popular game for at that time. And from that and all the other games that we've created, we've gained the experience. We've um, really really made our workflow very efficient. We know what ideas to try and what not to try. So yeah, that's that we came in very confident when creating Anito Legends.
Got that. And it's gone from Yen over here. Any hint on how much will be the price per box, I guess, of the Anito?
Well, it's a secret. That we'll let everybody know once we finalize the pricing. It will come really soon because we plan to we plan to sell the Anitos hopefully by second quarter of this year. No definite dates yet, but Q2 most definitely.
Okay, I have a question, guys. So these are also for people who want to be, I guess, game developer entrepreneurs, and they've got a great idea. And now they're thinking, okay, how do I go about this? How do I finance the game? How do I get people to buy into the idea? So how exactly did you guys, I guess, come together, and how are you financing the development of the game as well?
So this all started with one of our partners, SparkPoint Technologies. They are
Mhm.
also a Filipino cryptocurrency startup. I think they're based in Albay.
Albay,
And
wow, interesting, huh?
they yeah, and they actually seeded the idea to us. Now why not create a play to earn game? Since we have had game development background, we were just lacking the blockchain development side of things, which they initially assisted us on. And then financing wise, we found multiple investors. We have one of our incubators, X Network Capital. The founder is actually also based in the Philippines. He's from Davao, Mr. Eric Su. He's been helping us finding other investors in the cryptocurrency space. And there are a lot of VCs out there who are who want to add us into their portfolio. So that's how we've been starting our seed round very recently.
Very interesting, very interesting. Now, having said that, I want to go. I wish we had more time, but it's just such an interesting thing. We could go on for an hour or more. No, given your background, both James and JV, for the beginning entrepreneurs when it comes to game development, because it's such a nice space for, especially, I mean, like you said, with the gaming capital, I guess, of the world, mobile gaming capital of the world, play to earn capital of the world. What would be maybe your advice for aspiring game developer entrepreneurs out there? You've made your mistakes, you've taken your punches, and you got up again. What are these things that if you what have you learned that you want to share with them, so that we can improve our ability to compete in this gaming world?
Okay, the usual advice I give is and this is what we've already learned, a painful lesson that we learned, is to always set your scope to be very realistic. When I say scope, the features you will put in your game, the amount of work you will think you will put into the game, try to be very realistic at that. If you're starting out, always start with a small project first. Don't be too ambitious, because we also did that mistake. We were too ambitious with one of our games, and it did not pan out. We wasted so many months just creating that game, but it turned out that we could not complete it. So if you're starting out, always set the scope at the realistic expectations, and then once you gain experience, you can try making bigger and more ambitious games.
Got that. Got that. Um, JB, you want to share also as well for the upcoming entrepreneurs in this space?
I think one of the things that I've learned is, I came into this as a newbie, a crypto virgin, if you may say, during the pandemic. Eh. So this is like a new life for me. So I really want to tell people na you don't be afraid to reinvent yourself and try new things. Eh. There comes a point because especially as you grow older, like, oh, I'm okay na, this is fine. Then you realize, no, wait, there's so many more exciting things for you. And this is like, you and I are we were in publishing together for so long, and then I was
Mhm.
into digital marketing, and then now I think all of these skills that we've acquired back in the day are also now pala useful in this new venture. So yeah, I
Interesting.
think that's something that I feel like it's very good foundations for Web3. It's what people are calling this industry: Web3, blockchain, crypto. So be true to yourself. Don't compromise your ethics, and don't be afraid to try new things.
Fantastic. Having said that, guys, really great insight. I also want to know that in this space, the play to earn space, the NFT space, what are you also seeing as emerging opportunities in this space where entrepreneurs can still come to play? And when I talk about entrepreneurs, these are basically people who are entrepreneurs, game developers, graphic artists, or people creative or have creative skill or programming skill or other skills. What are still the opportunities emerging in this space that you can see for Filipinos? Maybe
Well, we've
James
been
first.
we've been seeing a lot of actually Filipino artists going into NFT lately. This has been a very good opportunity for them. And there are a lot of talented Filipinos out there. When I see the artworks, parang wow, okay. Parang mapapabili rin ako ng NFT if I had the funds. But yeah, that's one of the opportunities. There's also a lot for games, obviously. In the space for games, um, on the business side, if you're an economist, I think that's one of the very important skills that these play to earn games need, the balancing of the markets, the token values, and everything. And then, of course, if you're into marketing, that's also really a nice niche to fill as well.
Thanks so much, James. JB, what are the other things that you think that there's still opportunities for entrepreneurs to enter into this space?
I think there's a huge demand now for blockchain developers. So these are developers who can transition from their Web 2 skills and move into the blockchain. Kasi konti pa lang, Arj, there's a huge demand, and people nga are saying if you find one, kunin mo na. Kasi ang hirap maghanap. Oo.
Mm,
We're at least blessed to have our own in-house. But yeah, I think moving into that space will be in very high demand soon, because even the traditional institutions are going into blockchain sooner than later, right? So they'll
mm.
always need
You, like
that
Union Bank is
that
going to
that
be in that space,
discipline.
or UBX. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So I mean, there's really, we've been seeing a lot of traditional companies pushing it, the industry. So give it not even years, months lang. Next year will be very different from this
Mm,
year. So there's
yes.
going to be widespread, more widespread adoption pa.
Oh, fantastic. Really exciting. So, guys, thanks so much for guesting here on the show. For those, again, what are the updates for Anito? You're doing beta testing right now. When will the game go live? And what more can they expect from Anito Legends? James.
We're hoping to go live again Q2 of this year. No definite dates yet. But please check out our website, anitolegends.com. And you can go try the beta right now, play.anitolegends.com. Just simply sign up. And we accept by batches every Friday. So if you sign up today, you'll be able to try the game by tomorrow.
Wow, really exciting. JB, any last words?
Masayato, Arj. That's the tagline ng game.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, thanks so much, James Chua and Jayvee Fernandez of Masayato with their flagship game, Anito Legends. Try out their beta version of the game right now. And good luck to you guys, and to our NFT, crypto, and play to earn community. Good luck to all of you. Let's continue to make the Philippines the crypto gaming capital of the world. Again, thanks so much for listening to the RJ Ledesma Podcast. We will see you next Tuesday for our next podcast. Thanks so much, guys. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Arj.
Stay around, guys. JB, James.
Okay.